Hey guys. Yep, we got another live. I'll be here on my own today. Um, Josh said he was going to come up, but he something came up and he's busy. But not a problem. This is something I wanted to talk about for a little while now. Um, oh, anybody else got an empty one? Anybody else go to the courthouse wearing one of these with nothing in it? I'm, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this just slips in your belt, comes right out. Why would you take a weapon out of this and I guess leave the weapon in your car and wear this when you go into a courthouse? What kind of a douche pickle are you? You know, every time I wore this at court, it always had this in it. So, yeah, my duty weapon. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. So, if you are that kind of a douche, don't be. So, this one kind of fell through the cracks. We're going to roll the clocks back to November, December timeframe, 2022. I had somebody reach out to me with a message about a guy in their VFW that was creating a lot of havoc and hate and discontent. And he was a bully and a pain in the ass. And they believed he was full of shit on some of the stuff he was spewing. So here's the message that got sent to me. So, hi Top, I hate to bother you, but any word regarding Edward Grink? Now, this isn't the first message I got. She sent me, and let me preface this with, this is a female U.S. Marine Corps vet, Iraqi vet, who is a member of a VFW and enjoys her membership with that VFW. However, this guy is creating a lot of problems. There's a lot of turmoil at my post. The current commander quit. I have a feeling Ed Grink is going to try and slide in, which he in fact did. Ended up getting the VFW post shut down for an investigation, and then he was, see ya. He's a bully and trashes anyone who questions him or gets in his way. I don't like to air dirty laundry, but me and another Marine called him out on his bullshit. And he set a biker club for me, which I gladly answered that call and went as far as to ask a girl in the bar to punch me in the face for $200. Really? Again, I don't sweat any of this, but I worry for my post. So she's got a lot of Vietnam friends there, and I'm having to read around things here. They went through the chain of command and the VFW, and the VFW basically said, oh, it's just a fishing story, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's a little bit more than just a fishing story with some of the awards. So there was again, just kind of like Herb Minshew, he does this interview. So let's look at the interview, take notes, take copious amounts of notes. And I'm going to replay this again and we'll go over it bit by bit. But listen to what he's saying. Write down anything you think is relevant. And we'll see where it goes.
I did my basic training in Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Let me know if there's an echo or if you can hear it or
not. Because of my knowledge of printing, they put me in military intelligence. After getting a top security clearance, I was printing map overlays of missile sites.
Wow.
In the world, yes. Russia, amazing. Cuba. And I had a shadow. Didn't like it. Didn't like the shadow. So I requested to get transferred overseas. It's a job protecting your own. That's what it's about. It's a job protecting your own. You never leave a brother behind. Never. Okay, I don't care if he's wounded or he's dead. You pick him up, you take him home. I would do the same thing today, given the opportunity. When 9/11 hit, I was on a construction site in Mount Laurel, putting up a tilt wall building. That's what I do. Everything was shut down that day. Not one airplane was in the air. I got a phone call from my office, send everybody home. I got in my truck and drove to the recruiting station and said, I want to go back in.
Wow.
Sergeant E5 says, well, how old are you? I told him. He said, sorry, sir, you're too old. I went across that desk to grab him by the collar.
Of course he did.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he just backed up. I said, what do you mean I'm too old? He said, you're over 35. I went, yeah. He said, well, you're too old. I'm not too old to fight.
Yeah.
All right? I'm not too old now. 68? I got a nice little arsenal at home.
Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Vietnam Service Medal,
Listen,
Distinguished Flying Cross, and all these other the things that they gave me. My wings and marksmanship expert in the military and basic training.
I have a question for you. Like, is there one?
did you take notes? Were you paying attention? Did you see what he was wearing on his biker vest? Did you see the wobbly one bars? That's a warrant officer 1, and that's what you're called when you come out of warrant officer flight school. They call you a wobbly 1 because still a little wobbly. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see here. We've got widgets. Let's see if this will work. Legit or not? Type of 1 for yes, type of 2 for no in the chat. And let me know what you think. Is he legit or not? Is he? Wow. Yeah. I should have added a third one. Is he somewhat legit? A little legit? Not legit? Full of shit? Maybe I should have added a little bit more to this, but I wanted to try out this widget anyway. I think it's kind of cool. We'll stop the poll. Yeah, so he was creating a bunch of issues at the VFW. Ended up becoming the VFW commander. They ended up shutting down that post for a period of time while they did an investigation. I don't know what all of that was about, but I do know there's some shit here that doesn't add up with what his actual records show. And again, I apologize to this Marine because I didn't follow up on this. So, and excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one and they all stink. But spring of 2023 is when I had my bad motorcycle crash when I was racing and broke my back. A lot of things fell through the cracks and I never followed up on them. This is one of those. And I've been going back through all of my archive messages and I said, you know what? I got to go over this. I downloaded the entire interview, pulled out his little sections, and yeah. And, you know, I did give them some good information. I said, hey, listen, POW MIA network or POW network, Mary can get you the records. And that's what happened. Her and this other Marine, the other Marine went ahead and requested the records and got the records back and they gave them to me. And these are true NPRC records, but we're not going to go over those just yet. And that video was taken in 2018. And this was 2022. Yeah, I don't know if he stole a bunch of money from the VFW. I don't know all the. Yeah, I should have tried being an MP. Woodrow, really? This one's not. All right. So now what we're going to do, before I show you the records, we are going to go piece by piece on this video, and I'm going to point out a few things. And then we're going to look at his records, and we're going to look at his assignments, and we'll see what adds up and what doesn't add up.
I did my basic training in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Because of my.
So right here, we see this vest he's got on, and he's got a whole bunch of shit on it. Of course, he's got his hog patch on there, Harley Owners Group. And I don't know, some other stuff. Then he's got some ribbons. Notice perched upon the top of that is a silver star. Okay. We've got a silver star, bronze star, purple heart. I forget what that is. It looks like a Vietnam campaign ribbon. And he's got his wobbly one bars up here on his, where the epaulets would be. So right there, that silver star, if you did not earn a silver star and wear it misrepresenting yourself, you are in violation of the Stolen Valor Act of 2013, period. You can be prosecuted for that. But let's continue on with the video.
My knowledge of printing, they put me in military intelligence.
So being a knowledgeable person, now see, there's some truth to this. There is some truth to this. He wasn't an intelligence officer, but he was assigned to an intelligence unit to print maps. So he was a printer.
After getting a top security clearance.
True. Probably needed a clearance for the stuff that he was printing out. Yeah, he did mention a Distinguished Flying Cross. And that could be. I didn't really zoom in, and I really didn't care. That silver star really chapped my ass when I saw that, especially when you see his records.
I was printing map overlays of missile sites.
Wow.
In the world, yes.
Wow.
Russia,
Amazing.
Cuba.
Wow.
And I had a shadow.
Really?
Didn't like it.
He had a shadow. What does that even mean? He wasn't like a spy. He wasn't like an intelligence officer. He was a fucking printer. And he had a shadow? Somebody followed him around all day long? Don't think so.
Didn't like the shadow. So I requested to get transferred overseas. It's a job protecting your own.
I don't think he requested to get transferred overseas because I've seen his records and we'll talk about that. Anyway.
That's what it's about. It's a job protecting your own. You never leave a brother behind. Never.
And I agree with
I don't
this.
care if he's wounded or he's dead. You pick him up. You take him home.
So when we fight in the combat zone, you're not fighting for God, country, and all this other bullshit that everybody tells you. The guy to the left, the guy to the right, the guy to the rear. You want everybody to go home safe. You're there to do a job. You do your job, and you make sure everybody comes home.
I would do the same thing today, given the opportunity. When 9/11 hit, I was on a construction site
I
in
want
Mount Laurel,
to fast forward through this.
putting up a tilt wall building. That's what I do. Now, phone call from I got in my truck and drove to the recruiter, said, I want to go back in. Five says, how old are you? He said, sorry, sir, too old to grab him.
Of course he
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
Of course he did. He came right across the table to grab him. I'm sure he did. Yeah, that's definitely a way to get in the military. Yeah, construction, true, most likely. He looks like that's what his forte is.
And he just backed up. I said, what do you mean I'm too old? He said,
too
you're over
fucking old
35.
is
I went,
what he
yeah.
told
He
you.
said, well, you're too old. I'm not too old to fight.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not too old now. 68. I got a nice little arsenal at home.
Bronze Star.
Big
Purple
deal.
Heart.
Oh, the way they faded this around is kind of weird. You got to listen close because he starts talking about his awards. Never mentions the Silver Star. Never mentions it. And he's got that prominently shown up on his shadow box.
Nice little arsenal at home.
Listen
Bronze
close.
Star. Purple Heart. Vietnam Service Medal. Distinguished Flying Cross. And all these other the things that they gave me. My wings.
So if you look at the shadow box, Silver Star, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Distinguished Flying Cross. Now, the aviation wings appear to have either a star or a star with a wreath around it, which would be either senior or master aviation wings. Can't tell if it's pilot or crew, air crew. You can't tell from this picture. But anyway, moving right along.
And marksmanship expert in the military and basic training.
I have a question for you. Like, is there one?
Yep. Oh, I got my expert marksmanship. So I watched this probably 3 or 4 times. I really looked closely at the awards that he had on that vest, what he had in the shadow box. But if you had received a Silver Star, wouldn't you mention it? He never mentioned he was in Vietnam. So never mentions the Silver Star and talks about the rest of them. So this is the type of shit that chaps me to no end. When you guys see his records, you're going to say, wow, pretty impressive. And then he throws it all away by shitting on it. I don't get it. But without further ado, let's take a look. Here's a reply from NPRC. Ed served from May 22nd, 1968 to February 24th, 1970. He was discharged as an E4 specialist. Military education, none. He didn't go to any NCO schools or anything like that. National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal, Purple Heart, Good Conduct Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal, a Bronze Star, and an Air Medal. He legit got a Bronze Star and an Air Medal. Now you're thinking already, how in the frick is this print guy who prints maps, getting a Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Distinguished Flying Cross, which he didn't get. He got an Air Medal. Aviation, 7 years for senior on flight status, 7 years of flight status, and 15, I think, for master on flight status, or 10 years and 18 years in the MOS. I think that's correct. Not sure. Yeah, Woodrow, it boggled my mind too. I was like, wow, 100%. As a Spec 4, this is like a fantastic deal. But how? How did he do this? They did give us a copy of his assignments. So let's take a look at his assignments and break that down. So 23rd of May, 68. On the 3rd of June, 68, he was an 09 Bravo, which is a duty soldier for training. He went through basic Company A, looks like 6th Battalion, 2nd Training Brigade at Fort Bragg. Nice. He was a printer's apprentice, 5 August 68. That's what, I don't know if he went to school. It looks like CR is course on the far right. And then on the 9th of September 68, he received the MOS 83 Alpha 10, 10 being below the rank of E5. Once you make E5, it's 20, E6, 30, blah, blah, blah. Then it would have a P for parachutist, F for flight, whatever. So he was a printer's apprentice. Okay. So he was on casual status, 8 January 69, casual en route to United States Army Pacific, on his way. So it looks like he had some leave time. I don't know. Before he went to Vietnam, he might have had taken his leave time. And then we've got on the 8th of March, 69, printer's apprentice, HHC, 4th PSYOP, U.S. Army Pacific, Vietnam. So he was initially in a PSYOP company in Vietnam, March of 69. 10th of June, 69, he was casual. Same day he reported. They listed it as a PCS move. He went from HHC 4th PSYOP to 187th Aviation Company assault helicopters. How did this happen? Well, Vietnam was the first really big deal with helicopters, with door gunners, with attack helicopters, the introduction of the Cobra. And it was hard to get door gunners. My guess, I want to be a door gunner. He volunteered just because the same day he signed into another unit. I'm thinking he was on a rear air base somewhere, HHC 4th PSYOPs, sitting in a talk somewhere printing maps out, and decided that he wanted to be a door gunner. And they were looking for door gunners. So that's probably how that happened. He was assigned 67 Alpha 1 Fox. If you look that up, it's a aviation maintenance apprentice / door gunners, where they'd take infantry guys. They'd take pretty much anybody and make them a door gunner if they so volunteered. Didn't have a very long life expectancy as a door gunner during Vietnam. Helicopters were getting shot down. Door gunners were getting shot up. And so from the 10th of June, 69 until the 23rd of February, 1970, when he was en route back to CONUS to separate from the military. So he had a couple of years, which was typical for the Vietnam era. This explains how he managed to get the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, and the Air Medal. It was kind of convoluted. As far as Snaggy, you are 100% incorrect. 100% incorrect. Everybody claims the big fire in St. Louis. as a matter of fact, let me bring up another thing here. And it talks about whose records were destroyed in that fire. And let me bring it up. Let's see, St. Louis fire. All right. And this is, let me bring this up here. I got too many windows open. That's the problem. Doom, doom, doom. Ba-bum. All right, so let's take a look at this. It was in 1973, which Vietnam didn't end until 1975. 16 million to 18 million U.S. military personnel records, the MPRC, the custodians, National Archives, and they talk about the records that were. Let's see if we can figure this out. Probably not a good one. Affected records. 80% lost to records of U.S. Army personnel discharged November 1, 1912 to January 1, 1960. Yeah, all prior to Vietnam. 75% lost to records of U.S. Air Force personnel discharged September 25th, 47 to January 1st, 64. Some U.S. Army Reserve personnel who performed their initial active duty for training in the late 1950s, but who received final discharge as late as 1964. So they lost those records. But everybody, a lot of these guys, oh, my records were lost in the fire. Trust me, when you request the records, you'll get something back usually, because it wasn't like the entire place burned down. Yeah, and the VA, Snaggy, the VA is, I take about half of what I see and about a third of what I hear about the VA. Misty, I'm sorry about that. Have you tried doing the online thing with NPRC? As next of kin, you should be able to do that and actually see what they've got for them. Yeah, and I could be wrong too, Snaggy. That doesn't mean some of these guys didn't lose their records. We're dealing with the government, but there was very limited record loss of anybody in Vietnam. As a matter of fact, those records, they stay at HRC for a certain amount of time before they ever go to the NPRC. I know my records stayed at HRC when I retired for like 3 or 4 years before it all got transferred over. And I was able to request because I did an online request on my own records just to see what I'd get back. And I got my entire iPerms file. I mean, everything from the time I enlisted until the time I retired. It was a huge file. It's crazy. But this guy, like I said, he created so much havoc, and I felt so bad about not doing a follow-up on this and, digging into it. But old Ed, he can go eat a bag of dicks. He had an amazing stint in the military. Yeah, he was a fucking door gunner in Vietnam. Holy shit. Not a lot of those guys around. He got a air medal, got a Bronze Star, got a Purple Heart, got a Commendation Medal. Holy shit. All within, 2 years. It's amazing. It is just amazing. And then he shits on it. Then he shits on what he actually did by wearing a silver star, by showing it in his shadow box, the Distinguished Flying Cross. Come on, dude. Come on. And I'm sure there's a ton of people out there that believe all of his bullshit stories. Thank God for the Marine Corps. They led the charge on this one. And, I'm sorry I couldn't have been of more help, but turning you on to the POW network managed to get you the records. And you were able to get him out of that VFW post, which it's a shame because a lot of guys like to go to the VFW to, decompress and relate to other veterans, people who have been through some similar experiences, and it helps them cope with what they're going through, But yeah, hoorah to the Marines. They led the charge on this one. And old Ed. So I've reached out to the people that did the interview and said, he's showing you a bunch of shit that is not legit. His shit ain't legit. Some of it is, and it's pretty freaking impressive. I'm impressed. But I guess the guy's got, that narcissistic, who's that sound like? Overbearing, thank me for my cervix persona about him. Oh yeah, I'm gonna run around with my empty holster. Ooh. Makes you crazy. Makes you crazy. The YouTube sphere will definitely make you crazy. My chair's squeaking like shit. I gotta oil it up. And I'm sure you guys can hear it squeaking as well. So I've been checking different places and kind of rooting out some real whoppers. And I'm going to try and put something together here. I'm going to try and do this every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks or so, and bring you something new. The Herb Minshew one, that was I enjoyed doing that one, and I enjoyed the fact that I was able to get his interview taken off of Library of Congress because it was there, and they took it off, and the other place they made it an unlisted video, so you can't unless you've got the link. I don't have the link anymore, but yeah. But Herb had no military service at all. He was just full of shit from the get-go. I go to my VFW, yet I find nobody from my days and age. 0506. I'm 0506. Yeah. I think a lot of us from, no, I was 06, 07. I'm sorry. We were passing in the dark, I'm sure. It's crazy. A lot of us, I'm a lifetime member of the VFW. I've been in my VFW once when I wasn't there for something that was going on when I was a police officer. We respond there for disturbances or whatever, because people would rent the place, and of course they'd get out of control and would have to go calm it down. Aviation guy, 08, 09. So we got 05, 06, 06, 07, 08, 09. Hey, we're hitting all the years there, guys. Hitting all the years. Yeah. Me too, Mark. I missed out on Vietnam by 4 or 5 years. When I was in the 8th grade, our 8th grade went to the high school, and there were seniors that were, graduating and getting their draft notices. They had to register for the draft. I didn't have to register for the draft because by the time I graduated, that was over. But a lot of guys here in my town that I knew of went to Vietnam. Some didn't come back. Missed you not being in Daytona in March. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why I don't go to Daytona in March. It's because they no longer do the club races before the Daytona 200. It used to be back in the CCS days, we would go down in March, the weekend prior to Bike Week. We would do all of our club races. And then back when I was going, NASB, I was racing the 883 Cup back then, which was one of their pro spec series classes. So we'd always go down in March, and then we'd go back for the Race of Champions in October. But yeah, maybe next year. I don't know. But I just like going down to race. That's my thing, going down the race. So, anybody got any question? Anybody know of anybody that they're questioning? More than happy to look into anything, But stolen valor, it's still pretty prevalent out there on the internet. There's still people in social media talking a bunch of shit. Look at all the fucking special forces guys coming out and making YouTube channels and just what happened to the quiet profession? And some of them go off the fucking rail too. It's crazy. I have got no, I don't do drag bikes. I road race. I have got a 2021 Aprilia RS 660. If you want to see me racing, look up 388 Racing on it's. I'd share the link, but I'm lazy. 388 Racing on YouTube. Go to that site. You'll see me racing. You'll see me talking shit. You'll see me working on the bike. You'll see the bike. I think I even posted my post-crash analysis from 23 when I broke my back. That's all on there. And what's coming up? Let's see. We got, the 2-3 of May is my first race up in New Hampshire. So I'll be jumping on that bandwagon again. I'll be out there dragging a knee and making it happen. So unless anybody's got anything else, I'm going to end it here. I appreciate everybody taking a little bit of time out of your Saturday. Probably a shitty time. I probably should have done it later in the evening when everybody's done doing what they're going to do for a Saturday, but wanted to get it out of the way because now I'm going to go out and do some stuff because it's actually 50 degrees here and it's kind of nice. But as always, guys,